Welcome to the series of Living Through Gita, where I'm going to share another beautiful lesson that I've taken away from the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, all about Karma Yog, directly applicable in every second of our life. So, how do you know if you're physically fit? If your body is not a burden for you, you know that you're doing well for yourself. Think about it. It's only when you have a headache, your stomach aches, your shoulder aches, your back aches, or your knee aches, is when you know that, okay, there is a problem. When your body constantly asks for your attention is when you know that you're not physically fit. However, that's at a very outer physical gross level where it's easy for us to know that how our body is doing, how physically fit we are. If on a day-to-day your body is not calling for your attention and you kind of have this feeling of bodilessness where there are times in the day where you don't really think about any part of your body, generally you're doing good for yourself. However, how do we know if we are mentally fit? Unfortunately, we don't have, anything that flashes over here which says that low battery, it's gone from 100 to a 20%, you need to charge it. So the third chapter, the Tritiya Adhyay of Karma Yog, is what really would help us to know if we are mentally fit or no. So if your mind constantly seeks your attention, know that it's the starting point of it signaling that it's not doing well. If there is a lot of I, if there is a lot of me in your life, just know that you're mentally not as strong as you should be. So if you're someone, who has a lot of, I'm the reason so-and-so is at so-and-so place in their life. My husband cannot do without me. My wife cannot do without me. There is no way I can come for 2 weeks, or I can even take 2 days off with my friends because my kids are not going to stay even 5 hours without me. My dog cannot stay without me. I know I'm right. I don't know why the other person doesn't get it. If you have a lot of me, if you have a lot of I, if your life is too centered and revolving around you, know that it is the starting of the happiness fading away. Know that it is the starting of your time going in the reverse mode. It's like in Hindi we say that iski ulti ginti shuru ho gayi hai. So it's very important today to reflect that how much of I and me do we have in our lives. I was listening to this satsang and I heard these very beautiful lines which said that घर में अगर अंधकार हो तो मेहमान कहाँ से आएंगे, और मन में अगर अहंकार हो तो भगवान कहाँ से आएंगे. I'll try to translate that in English, but it won't have the same impact. What that says is that if your house is filled with darkness, you're not going to have guests. Similarly, if your mind is filled with a lot of pride, a lot of ego, a lot of yourself, then you're not going to be meeting God. You're not going to be meeting your soul, your true self within. So today, let's reflect on how much I do we have in our life? How much self-centered are we? And that's very important to do because think about it. From morning to night, knowingly or unknowingly, you and I, we both constantly have I, me filled in our whole day. Knowingly, unknowingly, at subtle and at very loud levels. So it's very important that we start paying attention to it because it is at that point that our happiness starts fading away. It's at that point where we start going away from ourselves. It's at that point where we are giving a chance to our mind to become weaker from within. It's very important to reflect on all those karmas that we are doing in our day-to-day and how much karta attitude do we have, how much doership attitude do we have. It's very important to stop that, to replace it immediately, because when there is a difficult situation that strikes in our life, we have to make sure that our mind is at 100%. It's not at a 20%. When you're at a 20% and life hits you with that uncertainty, there is no way that you'll be able to do your meditation. You'll be able to immediately use a power bank to get that up to 100%. unless you do your sadhana, unless you practice every day, unless you look at that mirror and you reflect on how many times today was I self-centered? How many times today did I do something just for myself? How many times today did I actually put myself over everybody else? Even when nobody else was seeing, you will know where you did that. So the third chapter really helps us to know and to remind ourselves where Krishna is telling Arjuna, Krishna is telling you and me to drop the karta attitude, so that our ego cannot be fed anymore at subtle and at louder levels in our day-to-day through our karmas. And that is where we will stop entangling ourselves in this entire cycle of birth and death. So with that, I hope that you took something out of today's video. Reflect if your mind is doing as good and it's as mentally fit as your physical body is. If your physical body is not as fit, but if your mind is fit, you can win the world. So with that, with the grace of Bhagavad Gita, I hope that you and me become more Krishnamay. And with that bhav, I surrender today's content onto the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, of Shri Yugal Sarkar. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with as many others just to help them out.